Hi, I'm Clark Smith. If you've gotten this far, you must know something about me, but I thought I'd make a little video clip here to explain the various things that I get involved in. I'm a winemaker. I've been in the wine industry since 1972. Basically, I dropped out of MIT and wandered out to California, had the good fortune to get a job in a wine shop. At that time, there were only about 250 wineries in the United States, and that's now grown to the point where we have about 100 times that many wineries. But in those days, you could actually, you could taste every wine that was made in California, and I did, and I met all the winemakers, and I guess I found what I thought I was looking for all the time that I was in college, which was something highly technical because I had some scientific acumen. I was a math major for a little while, and I wanted to apply that technical stuff, but to something human and artistic. And I think wine is a place that really allows you to do that, because fundamentally it's not really a science project. It's about making something that thrills people, and that was interesting to me. So I sold wine for about 5 years, and then in 1977, I got a job at a place called Crest and ran a cellar there for 3 years, then went to Davis, finished up my bachelor's and did the master's program. And then I got a job at a place, we started a winery called R.H. Phillips, the Jaguar family, and I, up in Esparto, sort of in the Central Valley, and we were able to show that we could make really nice wine in the Central Valley. And we were one of the first wineries to do that. We grew over the course of 7 years from 3,000 cases to about 300,000 cases. I'm not saying we actually made any more money when we were big, and that was kind of interesting. Seemed like every year we'd make $50,000. And so in 1992, I started Winesmith. I started my own brand. And I thought I'd see how small I could get and still make $50,000. So we're under 1,000 cases. And I got interested in making wines that were in a French style, or European style. So sort of the opposite of what everybody else was doing. Maybe it's just because I'm from Jersey, but I'm kind of a contrarian, and I thought it would be interesting to get away from the impact wines, the sort of action-adventure wines that most California winemakers are making, and to make something with more balance and ageability and grace. And so when I needed to put a label, I got this icon that's an anvil with a cat dancing on it, and this is the sculpture that I bought down in an art gallery in Napa that was the inspiration for that. And the anvil, of course, symbolizes Smith, and sort of the nuts and bolts of winemaking, kind of the engineering side, if you like, or the craftsman's side. And this lion really talked to me about the whimsy that's essential to winemaking, that we need to have some yin in there with our yang. And so that's what the label's all about, kind of symbolizing the marriage of the technical and the artistic, if you like. And so we started making wines like Faux Chablis. This is a Chardonnay from Napa Valley College that's done in a Chablis style. It's very minerally. It hasn't been taken through malolactic, so it doesn't have, it's not buttery, it's not oaky. And the current vintage is 2004. So it takes a long time to age. I thought that was pretty interesting. One of the keys to that was that we needed to get the grapes ripe, but when we did that, in California, our air is so dry that we tend to run very high sugars when our fruit is ripe. And so the stuff had 14.8 alcohol, and that's much too much for a Chablis style. It makes the wine bitter. So I decided that we needed some more tools. And so I drew on my techie side and I invented an application of a water purification filter called reverse osmosis filter, because what comes through that filter is just water and alcohol. And so we found out that we could distill the alcohol out of that permeate and then put the water back. And that was a way to uncouple the harvest decision from bricks. And lo and behold, we were able to start a company in 1992 called Vinovation, and we started doing that for about 1,000 wineries all over the state. And between us and some of our competitors, we now have about 45% of the wine that's made in California has its alcohol lowered through those technologies. Now, I have to say that my clients were not talking to people about using technology to make better wine. And so about the year 2000, there started to be a movement in the press to sort of demonize wine technology, and I find that very sad. So I started trying to explain what we were doing and trying to be more open about it, and now I guess I sold the wine service company Vinovation in 2008, and I guess now I'm sort of an evangelist for openness and for winemakers explaining what they do and being proud of it, because honestly, there's not much money in the wine business, and so our honor is really all we have. And so I wrote this book called Postmodern Winemaking to talk about what we're doing and why, and to explain both to wine lovers and winemakers, sort of provide a language for discussing what's really going on in the wine industry, and also delving into some things that we don't really understand, like minerality, biodynamics, and some of the controversies like whether or not we should inoculate with yeast. So I guess I've become sort of a crusader for openness in the wine industry. I'm a professor at Fresno State University, where I teach wine technology, and I also teach at Florida International University. My role there is partly experimental and partly bringing 22-year-old bartenders and waitresses that want to run a Hyatt in Maui, and I teach them to love wine and take them on a tour of the wines of the world. And that's available at the FIU Wine Academy to non-students as well. I also judge several wine competitions, and I have a class that I started in 1985 called Fundamentals of Wine Chemistry, and I've taught about 4,000 winemakers. It's basically taking a whole Davis degree and boiling it down to its essentials and delivering it over a weekend. And that's a very popular class. So if you're a home winemaker, or maybe a winemaker that came up through the ranks and didn't get your Davis degree, and you'd like to have it sort of plugged into your head in a weekend, you might consider that class. This site, Who is Clark Smith, is designed to tell you a lot more about what I'm up to. You might want to check in on the wine and music side of things. I spent a lot of time learning how to enhance the enjoyment of wine by using music. And I even teach winemakers to blend to specific pieces of music to help them enhance their style. I'd invite you to register on the site and tell me who you are, whether you're a wine lover or someone in the trade, maybe a master sommelier or a winemaker. Let us know, and we'll put you in touch with the things that you're interested in from Winesmith, and leave you alone on the things that you're not interested in. So thanks for coming here and sitting with me for a few minutes. And as the Romans used to say, in vino veritas.